This dude, he rakes.
He
Says
already-
the AL's bad.
Well, they are. It's because they can't hit. That's
Too many studs pitchers.
if he's not going to hit for higher average. I'd like to see 30+ nukes. I think it's all there.
When he's hitting 350 after the All-Star break,
When the Angels are 15 games below 500.
That has to affect you somehow, knowing that you're on worst MLB team.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Play-by-Play podcast. I'm Brian Bedell, joined with my co-host, Alex Haregi, AJ Sabidra. I think we're going to hop right into it. Today, it's probably only sport that we talk about that is playing right now is the MLB. I think we're going to hop right into the All-Star picks just came out today. So I know we're probably going to have a lot of similarities, but we can talk about some differences and everything like that. But let's go ahead. We'll go position by position. And we'll just name who we have. I know some of them are probably going to be slam dunks. We'll go in the order that they presented it in the voting.
Right.
So we'll start with first base, work our way around in the outfield with the catcher.
and we'll go left to right,
Right to
like
left.
first.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start off first basemans. For me personally, I'll go ahead and just do mine first. I have Freddie Freeman in the NL and then Paul Goldschmidt in the AL. Freddie Freeman was pretty obvious, and Paul Goldschmidt has been very, very good too, but there's not really much competition, I think, for the AL. I don't know what you guys have, but
Yeah, I got same thing. I got Goldie and Freddie Freeman. I was kind of a toss-up between Goldie and Aranda, but I gave it to Goldie. They're on the best team in the AL, so.
Yeah, no. I think this one was pretty easy to call. Obviously, Pete Alonso was having a great, I guess, probably first month
it
and
was
a half.
May that killed him.
Yeah. So,
May kind of killed him. Now he looks like he's coming back, but
Yeah.
May killed him.
Freddie's
So-
batting a clean 365.
I mean,
Exactly.
I every time I see his average, I swear it's up. It
Yeah.
was like 349 last week, and then this past weekend it was like 355. Yeah, and it just keeps going higher and higher.
Yeah.
This guy is born to hit and just a flat out stud. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Goldie, we thought he was toast,
Turn back the clock.
and all of a sudden he goes to the Yankees and he remembers how to hit. So Goldie and Freeman are my picks.
All right. Second base.
Second baseman, I got, again, kind of stinky in the AL. I got Brandon Lau. And then for the NL, I got Brendan Donovan. Brendan Donovan's batting like 340. Again, kind of iffy on both sides, I think, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the AL. You're right. It was a little bit weird, and I wanted to go with Brandon Lau because I'm a fan of his team. But I went Jackson Holiday. I'd like to see someone that young get in the All-Star game. I think at second base, it was just like a whole lot of
Mid.
mediocre. Yeah, mid. And then for the NL, I know we spent a lot of time on the IL, but I went with Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte obviously not just came back from his injury, but recently came back from an injury, already has 10 home runs. He's hitting for a lot of power. We expected that. Has an OPS over 1,000. It's just by 1 point,
Hey,
but it's over 1,000. And he's still hitting 293. And I'm assuming that's just going to keep on going and getting better and better as we get close to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So
actually, fun to know that we all have a different second baseman in the American League because I went with Gleyber Torres, and for me, it was more of a
Makes
thing
one grow
of
up.
it was more of a thing that he's on a 1-year deal with Detroit. Detroit, I believe, still has the best record in the American League as of right now. And I think it's just one of those things where you start to provide to a team where you looked at them last season and you're like, hey, they were just happy to get there, and then they sweep the Astros in the playoffs. And then they play, I believe, who do they fall to? The Guardians?
Yeah.
Fall to the Guardians. But, you add players like Gleyber Torres who are on just went to the World Series with the Yankees. So for him to follow it up with a good season, he's my all-star.
and they're not even just the best record in the AL. They're the best record in baseball by like 2 or 3 games
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So-
And then my second baseman for the National League, you got some good guys. Bryce Turang, Ozzie Albies is kind of having an okay season. He was my breakout guy at the start of the year. I'll throw my hands up on that one.
That got me.
And hey, you can still have a breakout at 30, okay? Just for those people,
You may have been in the NL for 8 or in the league for
Hey.
8 years, but
it's possible. Look at Judge, 26-year-old rookie, right? But Ketel Marte is going to be my guy, though. So Those are my 2 second basemen.
All right, you want to flip it back around? Start us off with third base.
Yeah, sure. Third base. This is a guy I gave some flack to in a little video we did before, and and this is where I give him my love back. Okay, I still have a vendetta with him. I'll squash the beef for now. J-Ram having an unbelievable season for a team where,
Like he always does, by the way.
yeah, Mr. Consistent, honestly. But a team that, I mean, you looked at it and thought they got worse. You know, they brought in Carlos Santana and traded away Josh Naylor. I mean, for it to be similar production to probably what they're doing, and J-Ram having a probably better season than he did last year, kudos to him. And then National League, I'm going to go with Manny Machado because he's Manny Machado.
Yeah, I'll keep this pretty fast with mine. I did the same exact thing. I went NL, Machado, AL, J Ramos. Pretty easy for me.
Yeah, same. AL, I went with J-Ram, obviously. It's kind of a toss-up, or not really a toss-up, but if I had to choose anyone
You
different,
thought about going with Mark Vantos?
no. Oh. I thought about going with David Caminera,
Oh, yeah.
who,
I thought you were talking NL. My bad.
Oh,
hitting-wise, leads third baseman in home runs and RBIs.
And right now,
pretty important.
absolutely on a tear.
Yeah.
Who's probably really helping out the Rays.
And then obviously, you have an argument for Bregman if he didn't die recently.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's J-Ram all the way. And then for the NL, I actually wanted to be a little different. Instead of Machado, I did go with Eugenio Suarez. 44 RBIs of the season, 16 home.
Mr. 4-homer game.
He is batting 227, but hey, let's talk about that part.
That's all right. They go out.
All right, Brian, who do you got for our shortstops?
All right, so for shortstop, this is the only player I have from my favorite team. And here I have Francisco Lindor. I feel like it's kind of a byproduct of there's not that much competition at shortstop. I'd say almost as a whole this year. You know, you'd argue that Gunnar Henderson's definitely having a down year, and then for who he is, Bobby Witt is probably having a downer year too.
Yeah.
At least right now. I know those are AL guys, but still, Joe's just in general.
In general,
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Francisco Lindor, and then a little shocker right here. He's wearing the jersey, and I gotta respect it. I'm gonna take Zach Neto. I know I took a younger guy for second base, but I'll take Zach Neto for second base or for shortstop in the AL.
Okay. Let's see. I'll start with the AL. I gave Zach Neto a look, but when you're batting 359, 60 games in, I'm going to take it. Jacob Wilson with the Athletics, absolutely killing it, batting 359, 7 home runs, 3 RBIs. And in the National League, I guess the closest guy to Frankie is like Trey Turner, who's batting 300.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to throw in like Ellie, who has 12 home runs and 43 RBIs, but he's batting 250. But it's Lindor for me. He's got the power. He's got the average. He's got the numbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Say it because
I wanted to give Trey Turner some love, but as a guy that loved defense, Trey Turner is very bad at it. At least when it comes to playing shortstop, okay? I said my piece. This isn't about the defense. It's just, that's my little 2 cents. I will be going with Francisco Lindor because this guy just keeps doing it. And he just recently passed Mr. October. Or is that Jeter's actual nickname? No, that feels like Reggie's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I got a little carried away there. But he just recently passed him in his home run mark. So, and I mean, Lindor's got many years to go. So, I mean, shoot, we might be looking at one of the potential best to ever do it. Because if you look at it up until this point, shortstop was kind of a weak position. You know, it wasn't really a guy where, I mean, shoot, the fact that Lindor's already there in homers.
Top 5 already. I think you said that, but he's top 5 all time.
Is that where he is? Okay.
He's top 5. I don't know where he is in that top 5, but he's top 5.
So, you know, he just keeps doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love me a switch hitter. Francisco Lindor's my guy. And to my beloved Angels, if we have one thing to hope on.
2. Logan O'Hoppy's good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely Logan O'Hoppy. But Zach Magneto is my guy.
You know what's
I
funny?
got to be a homer.
You know what's funny real quick? Because Risey said it for defense. Francisco Lindor is second and the NL shortstops with errors. Like he's second behind Ellie. Ellie has 10. Lindor has 7.
How many does Trey have? Trey's got to be the most. Trey's been horrid.
No, it
Ellie
goes
has
the top for shortstops. No, Willie Adames is the most, tied with Ellie at 10. And then if you're just talking NL shortstops, then it's Lindor. Turner has not 7.
It's a lot of scrolling.
That's a lot of
Maybe you
scrolling.
just saw a bad game.
No, his numbers.
He's been struggling. He hasn't been like awesome defensively for a few years, but I mean, at least with the advanced analytics now when it comes to defense, errors don't really mean whole lot anymore.
It's about what you can get to and stuff, which is why like Ellie has the most errors because he can get to probably the most balls of any shortstop. So
All right, so the outfield catcher. So the catchers. My bad, I was loading mine back up.
I'll lead us off with the catchers. Probably the biggest slam dunk out of the entire All-Star voting.
Logan.
In the AL, shout out my boy, Logan O'Hoppe, but it's Cal Raleigh.
Fair.
League leading home runs, over 1,000 OPS, 46 RBIs. He's just a freaking monster. And then on the NL side, kind of boring. I guess it's Will Smith.
Same guy as
So
always.
There's really no one to compete with right now. But just giving this a quick glance,
Kelly, if you played more games.
Goodman with the Rockies
fell off.
kind of up there. Batted 281 with 10 home runs and 36 RBIs. That's probably who I would say outside of Will Smith. So, but I will go Will Smith.
Yeah. I think for sure the guy that's somehow making an offense that looked horrid going into the season, just honestly making it relevant. So I got to give it to Cal Raleigh. And then, Will Smith, who I feel like started the season slow, has just kind of recently, when Teoscar kind of, before he came back, he just kind of really picked up the slack on that right-handed side. So for me, it's boring, but probably two of the best catchers in the game we have, Cal Raleigh and Will Smith.
It's boring. Cal Raleigh and Will Smith.
Hey,
I
they're
took them
having
as
great
well.
years.
I'd take a look at Francisco Alvarez right as I was scrolling by him only because he was at the top of the list. That's the only reason. No, Will Smith and Cal Raleigh were the easiest slam. I'd say Cal Raleigh was the second easiest pick I had.
Yeah.
I think so. Only because there's 3 outfield spots, but even if there was only one, the one outfielder is the easiest.
Yeah.
All right, so outfield. I guess I'd say, because we were discussing beforehand, I had maybe one of the more controversial ones, so I'll go ahead and go first. My first outfield spot, Aaron Judge. I think that one's... I don't have to say anything else. My other 2 outfield spots are taken up by 2 Detroit Tigers. I'll have Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter. Oh, he's also having a good year, but not that good.
I just
But Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green. They both have very good numbers this year. I understand, like, when you're talking about like Steven Quantrill, okay, yeah, they're not hitting 320 plus,
right,
but they also have 10 plus home runs, both of them, and they drive in a bunch of runs. And like we said before, they're on the best team in the AL.
Yeah, which I feel like should go more into it because these are literally some of the best players at their position and also the best player on the best team in baseball.
Well, I think it needs to go into it because you'd say, if anything, the Tigers offense was lacking last year.
Yeah.
These 2 guys were on the Tigers roster last year, but you'd also say that was the big problem on why they couldn't go farther in the playoffs. And then for the NL, I have Pete Crow Armstrong. It kind of hurts me because former Met technically because he was in the minor league system, but Corbin Carroll, who's having a great bounce back year after having a horrible last year. And then I was flip-flopping a lot here. I really was. I already felt like I had too many Dodgers on here, but I went with one more. I went with Teoscar Hernandez. It was close for me with Tuck and stuff like that, but I don't know. They had very comparable numbers, and Teoscar was hitting a little bit better average-wise. So, I just went with Teoscar.
AJ, for your outfielders.
Yeah, kind of a surprising one when I was looking at the numbers and kind of going through everything, I think the thing that surprised me was, is this what Byron Buxton is like when he's healthy?
Kind of.
I mean, because I feel like when the Twins weren't going, it kind of felt like everything wasn't going. The pitching wasn't looking great, probably except for Joe Ryan, because dude's a stud. But now that you're having Byron Buxton go off, it's kind of helped the Twins. So he's gonna be my first selection. My second selection, Riley Green.
Riley B.
Hey, you got to give credit where credit's due, and he's looked like this is the guy that they thought they drafted.
Yeah.
This is finally the career year that he's having, and good for him. And then the last guy, he who shall not be named, Aaron Arson Judge. All right. And then in the National League, I'm gonna go with my guy Corbin Carroll. Dude is just a stud. Literally, I mean, I don't know where his power came from because that dude is small. compared to what, like, compared to you look at like Aaron Judge. Granted, the homers aren't the same as his, but I mean, what? He's got 18. I mean, this dude, he rakes. So, good stadium to hit in, but he's not playing all his games there. So, first guy is going to be Corbin Carroll. Second guy, Pete Crow Armstrong. I think it says, what can't this guy do? Because up until this point, he hits, he fields, he runs. That's what we call a five-tool player. So, that's my second pick. And for my third pick, Mr. Kyle Tucker.
Okay.
So, that's going to round out my outfield. What do you got?
Yeah, my outfield is going to consist of Aaron Judge, obviously in the AL. I do not have Riley Green. I have Steven Kwan.
Fair.
I'm an average whore.
That's okay.
And my third outfielder, I have, let me find him. Mr. Byron Buxton.
Oh, wow. No Detroit Tigers.
No Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
But Buxton's just so exciting to watch, especially that he's actually having, knock on wood, a healthy season. I think he had a concussion a couple weeks ago, but
Brain damage.
it's okay.
It'll
He'll be fine. Look into it. He'll be fine. But that's really exciting. I mean, so honorable mentions I would throw in there outside of the Tigers. Obviously, if we have people voting for him, obviously there are no doubt honorable mentions. But I'll throw another Tiger in there, Javi Baez. Shout out to him for kind of turning that around.
Absolutely.
And then just giving us a quick glance, maybe Julio Rodriguez.
I mean, if he'd been doing it for the whole season,
Yeah.
I'd say Taylor Ward.
Yeah, Taylor Ward, 17 home runs, but he's batting T10.
Yeah, he just started his season off so horribly,
Yeah.
but the month of May was
He fixed it.
beautiful for him.
You know what's impressive about Javi Baez too is normally you see people that move positions. It really shows in their offense. They're normally not as productive. Now you couldn't get much worse production wise than
Right.
Javi Baez to begin
It's
with.
really all in.
Exactly.
No,
But
yeah.
you only see with guys, you only see the position move kind of lower their hitting ability.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see. I mean, I'm not gonna say that he's got plus defense in the outfield, but he's certainly not a horrible liability. And then obviously, maybe it just caused him to or made him lock in more offensively or whatever. But we haven't seen Javi Baez hit like this since he was a Cup.
Could just be a spark, Sometimes these guys, I mean, you get a big contract like the one he got, you get a little comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you come to realize, well, shit, I went from being the guy to kind of an outcast on the Tigers. So I think for me, it gave him a fire that he probably needed.
Yeah.
So
And AJ
good.
Hinch cheating aside, good man. So
I think that gets lost in kind of all of this is like, I know, but it's easy to say like, oh, the manager, what does he really do? It's just a bunch of grown men that already know how to play the sport and they're the best at it. It's like, we got to remember where the Tigers were a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
These dudes were in the cellar, like horrible. Just, I mean, they got Max Clark because they were so bad.
Yeah.
So,
well, just to kind of put a bow on the manager thing, I don't want to get too off topic, but when you have teams like the Dodgers or teams that are star-studded, the manager plays a huge role. Now I understand when people are in post games, they're like, oh, I'll do this for the team or whatever for the team, but there's still a lot of egos in those clubhouses. Every single one of those guys, even the guys that are hitting ninth on the team or on the bench, growing up and through high school and probably college too, if they played college,
yeah.
they were the guy.
Yeah.
And so you just got to beat those, like you just got to play into those egos and you still have to be, I feel like in baseball, more than anything, besides managing the bullpen, is just personnel.
Yeah.
Like you have to deal with people, like managing the locker room. And
Absolutely.
when you have a guy, it shows. I think it shows really clearly.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll just throw in really quick my NL outfielders, similar to you guys, Corbin Carroll, PCA, and
Honestly, if he was healthy, I would have put Jackson Merrill here.
Me too.
Obviously,
Yeah,
He had
me
a
too.
healthy year.
Yeah, for definitely honorable mention. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But give me James Wood. The guy's literally a baby, and he's
Dude, he's a stud. Thunderous bombs. Dude,
it is
they-
so
they
nice. It
lie.
is so nice to watch him play baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah, so James Wood as my third guy, I think that's pretty good. Next we have DH. If you want to lead us off with the DHs.
Yeah, let's do it. A guy that, had a lot of controversy going into the year, started the year off horrendously. Like, you couldn't start it a worse. First 19, 21 EBs? I forget what it was.
Someone struck out like 15 times or something.
Someone will know the number. But just, I think since that little spurt, dude has been raking. And, some will say that, oh, it's just to DH, whatever. There's guys that I think they would prefer to be on the field and involved in the game rather than just hit. So I think for me, I think people can kind of see DH as like a demotion or, it's easy just to hit. But I think for me, it's kind of the opposite. So for me, I'm going to go Rafi Devers and my GOAT, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, same thing for me. Devers, Shohei Ohtani. I think when we touched about it, a couple months ago when the whole fiasco with Devers getting moved from third base to DH happened, we said it's either gonna bite him in the ass or it's gonna light a fire. It turned out to light a fire this year, so the numbers are good.
You were saying people that hit better on the field, and look at Yordan Alvarez, one of the best hitters in baseball when he's on the field. And can't do it when he's DHing. But I'll keep it short and simple because it's the same thing as you guys. Rafi Devers and Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, what? Two of the best 5, 6 hitters in baseball?
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
yeah.
Certainly, I think so. I know it's not on here, but I was going to ask you guys, even though I feel like they're also kind of layups, but some of these were layups and we still did it. Who would open the game for you? Who would start in the All-Star game for you guys on the AO and the NL?
Oh, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I got an instant answer.
How about it?
NL, Paul Skenes.
He's only got like 2 wins.
Maybe you'll get one in All-Star game.
Maybe.
He'll get some run support. Yeah, Paul Skenes for the NL, AL, Tarek Skubal.
I mean, it's hard not to. Especially with guys like Yoshi having good seasons. Dylan Cease still doing Dylan's things, but
He had a bad start last game.
it's a different ballgame when you bring in Paul Skenes.
Mm-hmm.
So if only the Pirates could see it. But and then I think we've just seen Tarek go on an absolute nuclear run where this dude strikes everybody out and walks nobody.
Yeah.
So for me, those would be my 2 openers.
So I'm not just doing this to be different. I promise I'm not. I'm not going to be Homer and say Kodak Sanger. Oh, you've been good. I'll take Paul Skenes, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
For the AL, actually give me Hunter Brown. Fair. So far this there. I think by the time we get to the All-Star game, I think it could probably be Tarek because he's unbelievable. And it seems like, although you could, I can't even say like a slow start or even anything like that because he's just been really, really good the entire time.
Yeah.
Hunter Brown's been unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just want to make sure before I said this, but Hunter Brown, he's actually, I guess technically he has the 3rd highest or lowest ERA in the NL or in the AL. But it's 1.83.
I was gonna say it's in the ones, right?
Yeah. The only people
Crazy.
the only people that have lower are Nathan Eovaldi.
Wow. Nasty Nate.
And I wanted to check to see it.
He's been in every game.
Yeah, every game. He's pitched every game. So I was like, there's no way he's pitched every
Yeah.
game. But the lowest ERA in baseball is actually Chris Bubick from the Royals.
Wow.
And he's pitched every
That's a
single
shot.
game too.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I know ERA obviously isn't everything, but Tarek Skubal's 10th, and there's 7 dudes in the AL above him.
Well,
So it's Bubick, Eovaldi, Senga, Brown, Fried, Crochet, Molly, Skeens, Rossman, who's also in the AL, and then Skubal. So you have Rossman, Mayo, Crochet, Fried, Brown, Eovaldi, and Bubick all in the AL with lower.
hey,
and
who says
ERA
the AL's bad?
Well, they are. It's because they can't hit. That's
Too many studs pitchers. Nailed it.
No, but ERA is not everything. You obviously got to take everything into account.
Yeah.
And I show sympathy for Paul Skeens because I'm sure Jacob deGrom knows the feeling about what's going on. It's unfortunate, man.
That man out of Pittsburgh right now.
Dude, I thought so before I turned the game on. When I texted that he might have the second,
Yesterday.
like another CG loss, I thought they were away. That ball's way gone, by the way. I'm sorry.
Don't look, Josh.
That ball is way gone.
Pedro, he heard me. He heard me.
Here, actually, I'm gonna go back. I'll take Pete Alonso as my first baseman just for this game. No,
Oh man, it's every swing he's just 500K, 500K. Get ready, get up.
that's fine, baby. They're paying him 40 mil this year, baby. They're paying him 40 mil this year already.
Is that
so
what it
that's
is?
fine. Yeah, it's something because it's only 2 years, and it's something. I don't know if it's 40, but it's a lot. It's certainly more than any other first baseman. But I don't want to get too kind of off track. But I did kind of not.
That is a little surprising though, as far as the Scooble. But you were talking about Skeens.
Oh yeah,
And just how you sympathize for him.
yeah. So I honestly thought they were away. So I forgot who they were playing, but
Yeah.
they weren't going to hit again. So that's why I texted in the 8th inning he's going to throw. But he threw a complete game, 1 run against the Phillies and got the loss. And he threw 8 innings of 1-run ball against whoever they played a few days ago and got the loss. It ended up being like 4-0, but hey, that's the Pittsburgh bullpen, baby. That's going to happen.
I think that's why we were trying to figure out pieces we would take off of them.
Nobody.
We couldn't think of anybody.
Nobody. Except for O'Neal Cruz. That's the only person that I personally could think that I'd take off of them, only for the promise, because he is definitely, without a doubt, if he could strike out a little less and maybe hit for a little bit higher average. If he's not going to hit for higher average, I'd like to see 30 plus nukes.
Yeah.
I think it's all there. And he's got
Houston.
the bill. They played Houston.
Houston. Sorry.
Still. Okay.
Just wanted to get you in there.
Yeah. Who pitched in that game for Houston? I don't think it was Hunter Brown. So that's
Yesterday?
arguably even worse.
Whatever
Paul Skeens started.
Who would like
But
to
so-
load?
But so while he's looking that up, I'd like to see a little bit more, maybe power production if he's not going to hit and he's going to strike out at a huge rate. But I feel like all the tools are there. He obviously moved to center field. He's got a plus arm, no matter where in the field he is.
Was it?
And
Ooh,
and
Mr. Lance McCullers.
that's so bad.
I picked him up because I saw he was pitching against the Pirates. I should have known
so
that.
bad, though.
My bad. Okay.
That's so bad. Yeah, but I think that's the only person that I'd take off the Pirates.
Yeah.
So we last week kind of did some trade deadline stuff. I don't know if you've looked into much trade deadline stuff or anything, like maybe teams you think should pick up a piece or maybe shouldn't. Do you have any opinion on what you'd like to see during the trade deadline besides Taylor Ward getting traded for
I was just gonna say,
prospects?
Angels just traded everyone that's doing decent besides Zach and Logan. That's it. That's all I want.
Yeah. How's Rengifo been for us?
He's been great, but guess what? My grade, not your grade. My grade.
He's an ass.
He can literally bat 150, and I still think he's good.
That's his puppy.
But yeah, thank you.
That's your muscle.
Look
That's
at
your
that.
muscle hamster.
When he's hitting 350 after the All-Star break,
350 is crazy.
When the Angels are 15 games below 500, you heard it here.
Taylor Ward, see you later. Beyond Lakata, see you later.
Oh, you're right. Actually, get rid of all the people of value that are like older or whatever.
Yeah.
So Mike Trout, see you later.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, now since he's come off the IL,
He's been electric.
that's my go.
Perfect. If he's up, for trade, no Cedric Mullins.
Oh my!
Slide.
All right. I'm tired of this.
Yeah, we'll take Ronnie. We'll take Luis Angel. We'll take Brett. Give us Brett.
Give you all third basemen, missed a bunch of them.
I'll take Mr. Fat.
No, they got some good pitching guys. Some people you could use. Be willing to.
I was thinking of
Maybe even Brandon Sprout.
That's the guy I was
Maybe
thinking.
even Brandon Sprout.
Fat's the fucking.
Back six.
I think the Mets are settled. They'll give you Jeff McNeil, Griffith Canning, Tyrone Taylor to replace that center field. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Gotcha. And then we'll throw in a prospect. We'll give you like Jet Williams, who's also actually pretty good, but he's in the minor leagues and stuck there.
He's got nowhere to go.
No.
So, he's gonna stay there.
But yeah, I mean, other than I saw some stuff. I felt real good saying that the Mets should look for a center fielder. That's obvious, right?
Right.
That they should look for Cedric Mullins, and then maybe a day later, Jeff Passons is like, "Oh, the Mets should look at Cedric Mullins." I was like, "Oh, Yes. Obviously, maybe the 5 people that watch this were like, "Oh, dang." I feel like it's a pretty big layup, though. I feel like bad team, good player. He's not like killing it, but I've also had this. I think I was texting you or messaged you when you sent me a clip of Lou Bob. It was like it's part of the. I feel like you obviously want to show up and play,
Right.
but I feel like it goes in the motivation. I feel like if Lou Bob went to a really good team,
It's all mental.
it's got to be right, especially with 162 of them.
Who shows up? You know you're playing for the White Sox, by the way. But who shows up happy to go to work like that? Obviously, you're playing a sport professionally, but still, like that has to affect you somehow. Knowing that you're on a top 3 worst MLB teams.
I mean, the sport's already hard enough to begin with, let alone when you're starting at a disadvantage probably every game.
Yeah.
So,
And people on good teams like Mookie Betts constantly brings up how it's not a drag, but it's harder to get to the field when it comes to July and August. And he was on an unbelievable Red Sox team and then obviously on an unbelievable Dodgers team.
Yeah.
They're contending to go to the playoffs every single year. And it's hard for him to go to the field. I can only imagine the dude that's
and I mean, a
30
sports
games
town,
below 500.
a sports town like Boston too,
Exactly.
which I mean, they're all in on the Sox. So it's like, yeah, just imagine how you feel if you're the White Sox.
Exactly.
So,
I did want to also mention this. Dean, we might want to check to see if maybe there's a natural disaster or something tonight or something horrible because the Rockies brought out the Bruins. Now, it might have been the Marlins.
Hey,
But the Rockies brought out they swept the Marlins today. They first time I think I might not. This is made up in my mind, but I don't think this is wrong. I think that was the first time they won back-to-back games. Maybe not, but
since last year.
it probably it had to have been.
crazy.
And then I would assume the first time they've won 3 games in a row so far this year. There's no way that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
there's no way that they had won 3 games before this. I mean, this moved them to 12 or 11 wins for the entire season, so I don't think I'm going out on a huge
Balls.
stretch.
Yeah.
But I don't even. This might even have been their first series win. Everything's on the table.
I just saw that the Rockies Twitter or X page, whatever it is, posted in all caps with 5 exclamation points at the end.
We're so bad.
We won a series. So I think it was their first series.
Yeah, it
win.
was, and it did not look good. It did not look good, and I understand maybe a lot of people watching and you
Rockies
guys
are 12 and 50.
Yeah.
It did not look good for the Rockies. That in the entire month of May, they had 3 wins.
I was going to say.
And in the entire month of May, Scotty Scheffler, the golfer, who only plays on the weekends, by the way, only had a chance to win 4 times. Also won 3. So it doesn't normally look great when your numbers are lining up to a golfer's numbers because there's only one time for them to win. They're 7-6 most of the time. You have an off day almost every single day or week, but 6 times for you to win
A week.
every single week. There's probably give or take 25 times for you to win, and you won 3 of them. Brother, that
Best record in June.
I mean, so far, yeah, I guess so. I mean, shit,
A win's a win.
Oh, yeah.
Win is a win.
gotta be. I mean,
Best winning percentage. I don't hear no.
I mean, at least a 3-1. I can't remember when. Maybe it was June 1st when they lost to the Mets.
Yeah, probably.
last, but
Mets waxed.
well, yeah, but I'm trying to remember when that was on Sunday. Was Sunday June 1st? I don't know. So if anything,
Sunday
they're
was
3-1.
June 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they're 3-1. Not many teams that are 3-1 since June 1st.
Hey.
It's got to be some. The Rockies are one of them.
It's pretty good.
The Rockies are one of them. The Rockies are also interesting. I wanted to get here because I don't think we talked much about them. But if you're the Rockies front office, you realistically only have like 2 or 3 guys that anybody would want. I'd throw Ryan McMahon in that situation just because
for
he's
sure.
good. I think he's good. And then you obviously have Ezekiel Tovar and Brendan Doyle.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got a whole lot of guys that are pretty awesome. And then Goodman, but Goodman's, I think this is his rookie year, or if not, he's, I don't know. I don't know much about Goodman, to be honest.
The Rockies.
If you're the front office, do you deal guys like this that are good, but they're really young, or what do you do?
I mean, the thing you'd probably do if Doyle's up on a contract, you probably trade him, see what you can get. I think they got Tovar. Obviously, they just signed into that extension, a year or 2 ago?
Yeah, it was
to
a
like,
long deal.
to like a
too.
7-year deal.
Yeah.
Probably keep him around.
Yeah.
You gotta have some pieces to build.
Yeah, and then same thing probably goes for McMahon. He's got to be coming up on free
Well, he's also
agency
older, I think.
either this year or
older.
next year. Yeah,
He's like
yeah.
30 or 29, maybe.
But those are probably really the only two. Probably keep Goodman. Probably keep Tovar. So I'll say half. Get rid of 2. Keep 2. That'd be my plan.
That's fair. Yeah, it's just really interesting. Some of these teams are so legendarily bad. Sometimes it's a pretty big like layup for you to get rid of some guys. Obviously, the Orioles are going to probably get rid of like Tyler O'Neill if they can somehow. I don't know who's taking that contract, but get rid of some guys like that. And then obviously Cedric Mullins gone. Like people like that, you dish, and then you're going to keep your young guys because they have a lot bigger core though.
Yeah,
like the Rockies.
The turnaround could be next year.
The
honestly.
turnaround could just be starting pitching, and that's it.
And that's it. Next year, I think.
Definitely.
Guys have better years. I think why not next year?
But even if you draft really well as the Rockies, right? I think you got to look at it like this. If you draft really well as the Rockies, let's say you draft and every single one of your first round picks hits. Well, there's 25 spots on a MLB baseball team. Everybody knows to be good, you have to at least have good starting pitching, good bullpen.
Yeah.
Are you, in the 7 years that Tovar is there, are you projecting to have winning baseball in Colorado?
Well, probably not. But you got to give
in that division.
you got to give your fan base a reason to come out. You got to give your reason a fan base to come out. So, and plus, I think when a guy has that kind of long of a contract, I don't know if guys at our teams are necessarily looking for shortstops right now. It's kind of a crazy thing to say because I feel like the switch up with shortstops nowadays is kind of how second baseman used to be, and now it's kind of flip flopped. Because now I feel like second baseman's a bit of a weaker position. So I mean, unless maybe a team were to think, hey, we can use them at second. So
what about the team that's currently playing that still needs a shortstop because they're playing their all-star right fielder at shortstop?
They maybe
I could see them going and getting a shortstop. I'm not saying it's going to be Tovar.
Yeah,
but I could see them going and getting a shortstop. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean maybe, but I don't know. I just feel like a contract that long, that much money tied to it. Probably just a guy you keep.
I think so.
So
you signed him for a reason, and you knew even 2 years ago you obviously weren't going to be great.
Yeah,
when you signed him to the extension, you had to know.
He had to know, dude.
Yeah.
He's
like, when we get the money, lock in.
Yeah, I'll take the money. Actually, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, you gotta hope that like being on a team like that doesn't destroy his career or something like that, because he definitely has a lot of promise, and he's definitely really good.
You're making $60-70 million over a career.
That's still not bad. Obviously, $60-70 million. You're talking about it, but you're talking about a guy where shortstops are starting to make more and more money.
Yeah.
And he could be one of those guys that makes more and more money down the line.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know. To be honest, that's unless you guys want to talk about what was going on in baseball the last few days, I think that's kind of it. I mean, there wasn't really much going on. All the good teams are still playing good.
Yeah.
All the bad teams still playing bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. I mean,
feel like there's really been no storyline that's kind of jumped at you and kind of, or, oh my God, this team's surging,
Yeah.
It's kind of just been who we thought we'd be good is good, and the bad teams are bad,
And the mid teams are mid.
Yeah.
AKA.
Technically, we can't even call ourselves mid.
We're below mid.
We're 5 games below 500. So that's forced to mid.
But to be fair, like nobody went on a limb saying that the Dodgers, I guess the Giants, but the Giants have been good all year.
Yeah.
No one was going to go on a limb and say the Dodgers are going to be leading the NL West, the Cubs leading the NL Central, the Mets leading the East, and then the Yankees
winning the East.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess the Central's kind of iffy except for the Tigers. So
yeah, your Tigers are legit or not, but looking at the dies seasons they're having, looking pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
So,
yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Peace.